Well, it's Agnes coming to you with the coffee filters. I am attempting here to show you how to make a super easy magnolia flower. Well, at least the one I see around here. So I do have a clear coffee filters, like actually white, not clear, and then a couple of the, gently dyed pink. So I'm going to start with obviously two coffee filters that I'm going to fold in half only once, twice actually. And then I'm going to round it off to round it off to a bulky petal, sort of like a tear. And then I'm going to take my colored ones, the gently pinky ones, and I'm going to literally do the same thing. Fold it in half, fold it again in half, and round it off with a nice point at the end. Obviously, just keep in mind, we're dealing with coffee filters. We are not dealing with the crepe paper or anything like that we can actually make a little bit differently. But that we will for sure try to do. So now we need to start to work on the center of the flower. So I cut the third one of the clear ones that I had in half, and then I'm just creating that little tiny cuts right at the end after I fold it in half, but just because it's easier for me to cut. So now that is done, so it's time to add a little bit to interest to a center. So of course I'm going to bring my gold. I may actually throw in some green in there or brown, whatever you have handy. So I'm just trying to make the ends of my coffee filters sort of a wet, because I do want to do something to that little fringe. So okay, so now this one is sort of drying my center. Now I'm going to gather my wire, and of course my whole goal for this to be in a vase, so that's why I'm not going to really worry about how thick of a wire. So now I'm picking up my crafting garbage, folding it in half, and wrapping it with the remainder of that half of the coffee filter that was left. So here we go. Added a little bit of the hot glue and created a little bulk. Here we go. So we got ourselves a little center. You do need to squeeze it here and there to make sure that it's nice and round one. Just because I did not know how my center is going to play out, I decided to add a little bit of whatever I had left on my brush. So it's a mix of green and gold right on it. But now we are going to work on that fringe. So with this fringe, we really do not need the whole entire, bottom to it. We only need that strip. So I decided to cut it off, and then as I twirl all those little almost dry pieces that I've colored, the fringe that I've colored around. So see, I'm trying to make sure that there is no loose cuts visible, but even if there are, it's fine. Okay, so I twist all of it, and I do have a little prongs right now. So now I'm going to start with the hot glue and wrap this all around. So ideally, I wanted to start wrapping from the top and the bottom, but then as I was looking at it, I just decided, and this is what I am always telling you, plans change as you go. So I decided to create a one united, line, sort of. And of course, secure it with the hot glue to make sure that that goes nowhere. So my painting of the green before, it's not visible. So guess what? We got to take the paintbrush and add a little bit of that same mix right to the top, because at least in here, Magnolia has that goldish, brownish, yellowish hues to it. So that's easy fixable. That's going quickly dry. So as I'm at it, I'm going to add a little bit more color to the ones that I've painted already. Okay, so here we go. Now it's time to keep our, depending on the layers, I'm starting with the white one. And as you can see, they are in a folding portion. So I do want, and I do not know about yours, but I do see that our magnolia, at least the ones in my yard, has, a random leaves, and they are not, usually regular. So what I've done is I made a hole in a double folded coffee filter, and I've just added to the side, and then the second one I just made sure that I am placing a little bit on the wonkier side, if I may call it. So of course everything is just secured with the hot glue right underneath whatever center we created. and that's it. I mean, I usually in the past actually use the tiny pine cones. So I'm going to share that picture with you later. So now I'm going to do the same thing to the other two colored ones, slightly pinkish ones, poking the hole as they are folded on the side, and then, threading it through my wire right there, and securing it with the hot glue. As you can see, yes, I do have a lot of petals. And, some, and at least mine, has a lot of them too. And because they are coffee filters, they are not holding steady as the magnolias are. But it's, again, my plan here was to keep them in a vase. So it really does not matter if they flap or not, because in a vase, they're going to be holding nicely together. So now my sides, the pinkish sides, are installed, and I do have myself a magnolia. So now I have two others that I'm going to twist together, the wire, and then try to see if we can potentially work in my little dish that I have here. My installation is super loose here. I'm going to show you the picture. So here is a close-up on the magnolia flower we've been working on right here. And it seems like the simple one is actually doing much better in that vase. I actually do like this alone, but so let's just keep on experimenting and see how we can install it. So here is just simply loose. If you do have it on a tray, or you have a tier tray that you want to place a little decoration with a little bit of the greenery, obviously I did not use the magnolia leaves, but that's okay. You can mix it up. So here is go back to that little container we started with 3 of them, and it does not look bad. But look what happens here when I move them to a bigger vase. I so feel that they are breathing right there. And it's, again, I stick the random leaves that I had laying around into my vase, and look how pretty that all of a sudden looks. And now the placement is all open. So it's, again, it's up to you how many you're going to make and how are you going to display them. But look at, I've actually do love this. So now let me just try if we're going to bring some kind of Easter decoration in it and see if that's going to work. So now look, my decoupaged eggs with the picks that I've made for my peonies, it looks actually pretty good. I am super happy with this, and as you know, the magnolia flowers don't last too long, so if you're going to make them out of the coffee filters, you can enjoy them for sure for a longer time, either in a vase or a tier tray, any place you wish. And I would really love for you to try to make one of those, because as you saw, it was super easy. So it's, again, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later. Please don't forget to sprinkle.